Hello and welcome to a very special episode. They're all special episodes, right? Of Comics Should Smell Good here at Xanadu Comics in Seattle. This is extra special because it is the final episode of 2017. So if you did not get what you want for Christmas, if you got ugly sweaters or ties or whatever, maybe you got some cash. So come in and buy some comics because we have a bunch of new comics and there's a lot of awesome trade paperbacks and graphic novels. Some of them are 15% off, some of them are 20% off. But lots of new stuff and lots of small but big. So small in quantity but big in quality. Awesome. And so let's begin with you.
Oh,
as we're going to New Year's Day, I think yours kind of.
You say I'm small in quantity?
You're technically massive, maybe compared to me.
Okay, you know, I got a svelte frame,
exactly.
But
exactly.
Okay. I start off with something that is certainly not small in quantity, given that it is nice and square bound in the tradition of old at DC. This is Book 2 of Batman Creature of the Night. Something that I was not expecting to come out monthly, but here we are. Kurt Busiek and Jean-Paul Leon have the second installment here of their... At a certain point, it was a more grounded take on Batman, and then the giant shadow bat creature showed up and kind of threw all that out of the window. But it's a really, really, really interesting take on the character, with young Bruce Wainwright, a Batman-obsessed child who lives in a world where, yes, because, you know, I don't think you would be obsessed with Batman in a normal Batman universe without it being weird, superheroes are fictional! Whoa! Just like what? Dang! Fictional superheroes.
It's like that meta thing, right?
Book. Meta, who did you meet? What? I don't know what that means. Anyways, this book is awesome. Kurt Busiek is great. Jean-Paul Leon is also great. And Batman's Batman. So, hey.
You do bring up a good point. Would it be really that weird, like if superheroes were real, to be super obsessed with them? Especially Batman, who is straight up fucking psychotic. Oh, you can't say that. Whatever. Psychotic.
It would be pretty weird,
It'd be weird, right?
Yeah.
It'd be really weird.
It'd be like, dude, just stop.
Yeah. That would be strange.
Not that weird.
Alright, well, you going next
First
there,
you would say
Mr.
that.
Bat. Yeah, right?
Me?
You'd have an X-Men shrine, alright?
Yes, I do.
Right?
I am always of mixed feelings when it comes to Jean Grey. Bless her heart, she's been through so much. And now, Phoenix Resurrection. This is the 5-part, the return of the real adult Jean Grey. If you've been reading the Jean Grey series, which stars the young original Jean Grey that Brian Michael Bendis brought from the past, in a great book by Dennis Hopeless, when we have those issues, you know there's some really cool stuff happening. Young Jean Grey's been preparing for the return of the Phoenix, which always comes back. But supposedly, this is Jean who was killed in the Grant Morrison and then brought back the original adult. She's back. She's going to be leading a team called X-Men Red in 2018, but this is the story of how she comes back and how the X-Men are reacting to it. It's Matthew Rosenberg, who's a big rising star at Marvel. He's writing a lot of cool books. And a veteran of huge events, Lenio Francis Yu, is doing the artwork on this. So I'm really intrigued by that. Like I said, I always have mixed feelings. I feel like Jean Grey, bless her heart, she's been killed, gutted, resurrected. Well, I guess we're just going to do it to her one more time.
Hey, Marvel's just, digging those graves.
We love you, Jean.
Yeah.
I love you, Jean, in all your forms. Young, old.
And we have, obviously, shiny cover.
Shiny cover and non-shiny cover.
So.
But still a beautiful cover.
My first pick is the next issue, number 4, of Street Fighter Reloaded. I appear to be the only one reading this comic, but that's okay. I love Street Fighter. This issue sees the debut of evil Charlie Nash, who I guess could be violent Charlie Nash. We're not sure where the evil and the violent, really, the line is drawn up.
No, he's just Nash.
He's just Nash.
When he's evil, he's just Nash.
See,
when he's good and alive, he's Charlie.
Thank you, Morgan. He has a badass bison, God, I don't even know what he wears, like a big puffy vest thing. Anyway, Chun-Li and Guile go toe-to-toe with him in a dirty Japanese alleyway, as it should be. Ken and Ryu yell at each other and get their ass kicked by other people while they're yelling. And the backup is Carr Andrews, who is super, super awesome, doing some really badass Nash and Guile flashback stuff.
Well, no, that's Charlie.
Oh, that's just Charlie.
It's before he died, so it's Charlie.
See, man.
Get it straight, dude. I thought you loved Street Fighter.
I do, man, but I mean, how deep you really got to go into the varying levels of good, evil, violent, and regular one, first, or two names?
Yeah.
Pretty deep.
I mean, you do have to go really deep, I guess. I guess if Good Bison, we'd find out his first name more than just M. Bison.
What?
Maybe.
No.
Anyway, maybe I would hope he doesn't have a first name.
I mean, technically the M stands for Mike, because that name was originally for Balrog, who was a parody of Mike Tyson, but anyways, should I talk about a comic yet? How about that?
Wow, dude, let's go deeper
yes.
into the obsession that you have with Street Fighter that have been unknown about.
I've talked about this before, Casey. I spent a lot of time on Wikipedia as a child.
Yeah, clearly.
We got SpiderMan II over here. This is issue 5 of SpiderMan II.
Oh my god.
The final chapter of Brian Bendis and Sarah Pichelli's, I'm not really sure what to call this. I'm not sure what's actually happened in this, other than we got a lot of time spent with Kingpin and the 616 Miles Morales in the middle of the series. That was kind of weird. Kind of a weird thing to do in the middle of the storyline, but hey, it's Bendis. What can I say? He obviously knows better than me. He gets the checks, you know.
That's
He
right.
gets the big contracts. He makes the bucks.
That's right.
This has beautiful, beautiful art by Sarah Pichelli, and an epilogue set in the Ultimate Universe, drawn by none other than Mark Bagley, who drew Ultimate Spider-Man for like 1 billion issues.
Right.
And it looks a lot better than most of his work of late. Although the last couple years, I feel like he's been like getting back on
His
feet.
Venom's solid, man.
Yeah, his
that,
Venom
that
was
Kraven,
great. His
pretty
X-Men was
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopeless. So more good form from Mark Bagley.
My next pick is Teen Titan 15, and this is part 3 of Super Sons of Tomorrow. Let me just tell you about the creative team on it. I mean, that's enough. It's Pete Tomasi and Pat Gleason continuing their arc, but you've got art by Ed Benes and Jorge Jimenez, who are doing amazing work on Super Sons. This continues the epic in which the Batman of tomorrow has come back into the present because young John Kent has a dark destiny, and they're trying to stop it, and he gets involved with the Titans, and the Titans get their butts kicked, and then there's also more people coming from the future. It's future, past, and present, and it's awesome. It's great art, it's great story, a lot of fun. One of the most fun books, the Super Sons. This whole thing spins it up, and Gleason and Tomasi doing an amazing run with Superman Rebirth.
That is absolutely all true. So before I talk about this next thing, can we just look at this Black Lightning? And
Shiny.
even though Tony Isabella really deserves the money for this to be on TV, my God, this is as bad as the Inhumans.
Shiny.
Look at that beard and those goggles. Who thought that was a good
That's a
idea?
dad beard. He's a dad.
Dude, I'm scared.
I mean, he totally looks like some out of shape dad, like strapped
He does.
himself into the old super suit. He was yelling at his wife for the super suit, and then he's like, "Okay, turns out this thing doesn't fit anymore."
Right?
Whoops.
It's a little tight. And he's got the Black Bolt thing going.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, he
That's a
probably
better
does.
Black Bolt than the
It
Inhumans
is.
Black Bolt.
Anyway, on to the good side. Hawkman Found, number
Ooh.
1. Dark Knight's Metal, big issue here, coming off the heels of number 4 from last week, which was some ridiculous nonsense,
Yeah,
I gotta say.
that was awesome, wasn't it?
That was totally awesome,
Yeah, it
but
was great.
it's... They're just yeah, it's a lot of fun. But this issue is written by Jeff Lemire. The whole issue is penciled by Brian Hitch with awesome inks by Kevin Nolan. And this is following Carter Hall upon his kind of return journey through the dark multiverse, which apparently is the cave in Final Crisis that Batman's hung out in for a while. But this is a single issue standalone with the shiny cover and the next stop in the big metal road trip here. We're only got another couple of issues left, and it's really cranking up here. So, Hawkman.
All right. My last book here, another big DC crossover that, people kind of forget is coming out because it doesn't have any tie-ins and it's actually monthly.
Yeah, right?
Doomsday Clock, number 2. The Watchmen characters have finally touched ground in the DC universe here with this issue, which sees, as this cover would imply, the meeting of the 2 smartest men to ever be published by DC Comics, Lex Luthor and Ozymandias. What could possibly happen in a meeting between these two? I'll tell you what. Lex Luthor talks mad shit.
Right?
Honestly, you're like, oh, he's gonna be like, oh, you're the smartest man as well? okay, let's work together. No, he's gonna be like, yeah, you're not as smart as me. You're an idiot, basically, and you're ugly.
If the first words out of his mouth aren't a squid, really, that's what the best you got. Then
that's actually pretty much
that good shit.
the first part of
should
the
be the first words.
Great.
Yeah.
He basically just calls Ozymandias an idiot, and Ozymandias is like, God damn it, man. It's great. A bunch of other stuff happens this issue too, though, so that's not too big of a spoiler. I mean, it's on the damn cover, okay?
Right.
That's about all I got on this one. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank are handling this with a lot more tact than a lot of people give them credit for. And it's also beautiful because holy crap,
God,
Gary
it's
Frank
gorgeous.
hasn't drawn anything for like 2 years.
I
I think
know,
he's been working
man.
on this the whole time.
And we still have a bunch of #1s, so if you were kind of waiting out the internet,
Reaction.
yes,
Yeah.
we still have it.
Speaking of internet reaction, there's been a lot of reaction to Star Wars The Last Jedi, and one thing you cannot deny, the cool visuals of when they went the big battle on Crate, the planet covered with salt that's really red underneath. Yeah, that's not a spoiler. I think that's out there. Anyway, that's not a spoiler. It ain't snow.
I didn't
Come
know
on.
that.
And the foxes are made
Oh,
of...
I see. Empire had a snow planet, so they're doing a salt planet.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, see the
wow.
connection? I never even thought of that connection. You're a genius. You should be running a
Lucas
studio.
is really deep. Lucas is so deep.
That's
that-
meta.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the Storms of Crate. So this is a prequel series from Marvel and Star Wars, which I've really enjoyed. The one that they did the last one, which kind of sort of was the origin of Poe Dameron. This kind of takes you to when Luke and Leia, this is after the events of the Return of the Jedi, came to Crate for the first time and set up a rebel base. Why was it abandoned? All that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll find out. Ben Blacker and Mike Mayhew give you this cool prequel to The Last Jedi.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da-da-da.
Yeah, Star Wars fans are up in arms, dude. There's like a petition to strike
To take it
The
out of
Last
canon.
Jedi from canon, which I'm like, that's
Were
awesome.
people that mad about Kylo Ren's chest?
Apparently, yes. Anyway, something less divisive. Bonehead, #1 from Image Comics. This helmet may look familiar to you, to followers of Instagram. Machine56 is the Instagram account who makes these awesome helmets that are really expensive and that I'll never be able to afford. But because of it, there's been this character Bonehead that all sorts of different artists have been doing renditions of, and until now, I don't think there's been a comic. I do believe this is the first one, but this is a cool, fun, kind of cyberpunk world, ninja-inspired. You've got all sorts of various gangs who all have awesome motorcycle helmets, all of which you can buy. There's some Judge Dredd-looking dudes in here, but for a first issue for Image, actually a lot happens in here, and there's not a lot of talking heads, so kudos to non-TV comics. I'm digging that. Yeah, this could be pretty cool. Similar, I think, studio as God Complex, right? Yeah, yeah, God Complex, which also comes out this week.
Which also has expensive toys that you can buy.
That's right. Yeah, for those beyond the vinyl toys who need like hand-designed motorcycle helmets, I know we're weird. Those exist. But yeah, I think that's about it for everybody.
That's all I got.
Happy New Year! Hope you had a
Happy
good
New
holiday
Year.
and everything. I know it's kind of we're starting the next year on not the best of terms, I guess, or as it were. But we really appreciate your support this holiday season. That was awesome. That really helped. We all got a paycheck this week, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I get to eat something that's not ramen.
That's right. So thank you very much, and we'll see you again for another month. We're going to still be filming up until we close. So we'll see you again in the future of 2018.